Hey guys, happy new day to you. Welcome to another video. This one's gonna be a little bit different. Well, only because I'm in a different location. Today I want to just chat about some thoughts I've been having, particularly around the topic of death, and grief and loss, and just that unavoidable part of life that we have to deal with, So indulge me as a talk. I just got home. I just got back home, and I'm sure I'm not the only mom who likes to sit in the car for a while before going inside. So let me see if I can how much I can get out before my kids start coming to the window or to the door and calling me. Yeah. Um, very recently in my prayer group, a few people, we lost a few people, not members of the prayer group, but like family members, COVID and other things, like there was particularly a hard day, a really hard day where three people associated with the prayer group, whether it be family member or friend or just people that we were praying about, died. Like three people in a matter of, like, it's such a short period of time, and people that we're praying for days and weeks, and it was a heavy day, heavy week. And then even on that same day I heard of another gruesome death. And you can't live in these times and not that's my other phone. You can't live in these times and not contemplate death. You can't. I don't know if one can. I've thought about death and I realized that I'm becoming more comfortable with the idea of death. Like, I used to have this huge fear of death, and I'm realizing that it's a faith thing. That I don't want to just say it's a. Sorry, my phone is telling me that it's 9 o'clock, which means I actually should be joining my prayer group. But let me just talk. On this channel, I'm going to try my very best to be authentic and candid. My dogs are barking. I don't think y'all are hearing that. Anyways, so where am I? Right, I'm talking about death. Right, so I find myself being less terrified of the idea of death. It doesn't mean that I would like volunteer to die because I'm now more comfortable with it. I wonder how many of you can relate to that. How many of you can relate to, even if you're not where I'm at, and I'm not saying that I'm at like this ideal place and that I fully understand and thing, but I just know that there's been a whole lot of growth in that area, whereas I've spent, in my opinion, a significant amount of my life fearing this thing rather than just living, fearing, like when I tell you I used to fear death. I've had sleep apnea. I've had issues. For those who don't know what sleep apnea is, actually, I don't even know if this is sleep apnea. I've heard of another term called sleep paralysis, and that seems more accurate to what I've experienced, where I'm falling asleep or I'm going to sleep, and I have this horrifying feeling of I don't want to just call it a feeling, like it's something I literally experience, where I'm awake, I'm fully aware of what's going on in my surroundings, in my body. My brain is fully functioning, and I just feel like this, like I'm being yanked, like I feel like I'm sinking, and my whole body gets stiff and I can't move, and my teeth are normally clenched, and this is something I've been experiencing since a child, and I think my stepmother thought it was some dopey thing, and as typical Jamaican families think, certain things are dopey things, and I literally went to the doctor, asked the doctor about it, and the doctor saying no. Him literally say he does not know, and he suggested that it might be a spiritual thing. So anyway, it's after that I started researching and met my husband some years later, and he's just a very pragmatic person, and he told me, that maybe I have, maybe this happens when I don't have enough oxygen. And I have found that when we have the windows open and the air is circulating better, it happens less. I also know that when I'm in a very stressed out period, like exams or whatever, it would happen to me more. So anyways, sleep paralysis, you feel paralyzed, but you're awake and you're very aware, and it's terrifying. You feel like, and here comes my son to spoil, or my daughter, here comes my daughter to spoil my video. Sweetheart, I will talk to you in a second. And my second might not be a second. Good morning. Soon come. Yeah. So again, authenticity, right? That I told you they were coming. When me there. So anyway, let me get back to the whole death things. Yeah. So how the sleep paralysis and my experience with sleeping really affected me on a deep level is that I've had this fear of dying in my sleep. Like a serious fear of dying in my sleep, because like nobody never come back from death, from actual like dying in the sleep, to say, yo, when you die in your sleep, you don't act, it's nice, or it's whatever. Nobody no come back from it, can't say nothing. So there are times when my husband would say, just give in to it, just relax and give in to it, and I'm like, you crazy, relax and give in to it. Like I feel like I'm being dragged, I feel like a sinking, I feel, I can't even explain this. Anyways, so I'm talking about death, right? So anyways, so overall, I have the same fear of death that I imagine other people have, except for the sleeping thing, when I used to feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna die in my sleep. Anyways, so first, let's go back to 2020, and maybe a little bit before. I don't know if it was 2020. I watched this testimony on YouTube where a guy was talking about his near-death experience, and it was a very freeing video for me, because while the night when I watched it, I think I watched it before I went to my bed, which is not smart. Watching near-death experiences before you go to your bed isn't the smartest thing. But anyways, the thing is, at the end of the day, the thing gave me peace, because he had an experience where he felt, where he was dragged down to hell. He saw what was happening in hell. He experienced that. And then another experience where he was dragged up to heaven. And then when he talked about like being dragged, like 1 minute he's in one state, like physically, and then the next minute he's dragged down and then dragged up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, when I'm having sleep paralysis, I feel like something is dragging me. Anyway, getting to the point, I watched the video and it gave me a lot of peace. And if I post this, because I don't know if I'm going to post this, I am going to find the video and link it. His story ends well, obviously, because he's here telling it, and he described heaven in such a beautiful way. And then I watched some other videos, and there's this similar thread that the people who have near-death experiences or dreams, like deep dreams and visions of heaven, have this, as much as their dreams are different, there's this thread of this pureness and beauty, and the colors are vibrant and the air is fresher, and this wonderful place. And it just made me stop and like talk to God about death. And I'm like, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, I know I've sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, but I'm saved. I'm the righteousness of God through Christ. Like, I am a born again person. I'm a born again Christian. I'm a new creation, and I need to be secure in that. And in being secure in my new identity, why am I fearing death? Why do you fear death? Especially if you're a believer. If you're a believer, you have to believe the Bible. And according to the Bible, there's heaven and there's hell. And according to the Bible, if you are saved, and you are, then death is not this horrible thing, because like our time on earth is just a teeny. No matter how long you live for now, or when you live for 100 years, your time on earth is a blip. Like if you were to infinity would mean that, you know, like this rope is unending. But if you were to picture a rope, and even living for 100 years, like it'd be probably less than an inch that your whole lifespan would represent, right? So that means that eternity is this wonderful other side of it. You know, on the other side of this life is perfection. Like if right, this is a fallen world, God made this world, and if we see so much perfection outside, like I look outside, I look at the sky, I look at I train myself to look up a lot, and it helps me with my gratitude practice, and it helps to keep me sane. But I look up at the sky at any moment of the day. I can look at the sky and I'll see perfection. Even when like it's raining and it's gray, I can see perfection. Even when I built my house, we built really big windows, and in my room I can lay in bed and look right out the window. I don't believe in curtains. I don't like curtains. I'm a little weird. But from my bed I can look outside at night and see the stars. And it's just, yo, this place is so beautiful. Like if God made such perfection, like the world, the earth, the creation itself doesn't need us. Creation itself certainly doesn't need me. But there's this awesome creator who feels like I should be a part of his story. And I'm going into, oh, my love story. I'm so in love with God. I'm so in love and grateful with God. To God, for God, everything. Anyways, you know me going off on a tangent. Oh my gosh, this is 11 minutes. All right, I'm gonna try to wrap this up. What I'm saying is, if we have the faith that we have, we believe in God, we believe in his promises for us, and we believe that on the other side of this world is an eternity. Like, I'm not getting into the specifics of, okay, if we're going to just stay in a state of stupor and sleep until Jesus returns, or if when you die, we don't know what time is like for God. We can only presume and guess. But anyways, what I'm saying is, beyond this life is heaven and hell for some people. But if you believe in salvation and you take the steps to be saved, like you make the choice, you choose Christ, and it's not sin that will send you to hell. It's not sin in and of itself that will send you to hell. It's disbelief, it's unbelief. So I know that Christ made a sacrifice for me. I know he said it is finished. He paid the price for me, and my sins are washed away, and I'm living a life after him. Like I live for him each and every day. So I believe that I'm going to heaven. Then death is no longer this really scary. It's no longer this scary, terrifying thing. I mean, I don't want to have like some crazy death where like I'm being hacked to death and it's slow and painful. But hey, it kind of don't matter how you die if you know you're gonna go to heaven. Anyways, I feel like I'm rambling. I don't know if I'll have a part 2 to this. I'm just saying, while, you know, with one of the people who experienced the loss, I was talking to her very recently, and I would not have said this to her right after the death because it would have been too fresh. But I knew in my spirit, and she confirmed after I spoke to her, what I'm saying, that her loved one is on the other side of this. And if God put so much effort into this place, and we see such beauty, such perfection, such intelligent design over here in the place that is fallen, just imagine the awesomeness. Like the Bible tells us, and we believe because we're Christians, that heaven is perfect. There is no pain over there. There's no hurt over there. There's no strife over there. Like for some of you who are experiencing loss, like my heart goes out to you, because it's never easy on this side of it. Losing somebody is never easy. But if you can trust and believe that your loved one is saved, if you can trust and believe that your loved one is in Christ and lived for Christ, then your loved one is gone to perfection. They just crossed over before you. And I'm by no means qualified to tell you this. I'm just sharing it. If it helps anybody, I hope it does. If it doesn't, like, if what I'm saying is hard to swallow, then could it be then that we need to do more to point people to salvation? Like, this is a charge that Christ gave every single one of us, and it does not mean that we all need to get up and go out on the road, especially during Corona, and preach to people. It does not mean that we all need to become pastors. It doesn't mean that we need to be anybody else, but it means we seek after Christ and we live lives that model him, and we take every opportunity we can to empathize with people, to be there and to show them the goodness of Christ, to show them that, and just gentle little shoves towards Christ, so that because none of us know the hour, none of us know when we're going to go. But if we can do one little one, we don't know, like, the Holy Spirit is so limitless. Don't be afraid to plant your little tiny seeds, like plant your little, because we don't need more than a mustard seed anyway. And or mustard seed might just be sending a video to someone, or sending encouragement to someone, and living your life, and letting them see that you not respond in anger, letting them see you forgive someone who hurt you. I'm saying all of this to say, as Christians, let us stop fearing death. Let us stop giving power to something that we have not yet experienced. And when we go through loss, try to cling to our faith, cling to our belief that, as hard as it is, and it just is on this side of it, our loved ones who are saved they're experiencing perfection. They're experiencing perfection, so find some comfort in that. And I was thinking before whoa, this is long. Quickly, when Jesus wept, because, like, could it be when Jesus wept in the Bible, could it be that he wept not because Lazarus died? Because, he obviously knew he was going to go perform a miracle, right? But could it be that Jesus just, felt the hurt and the pain and the strong emotions of everyone else? I believe that Jesus, being fully human at that time, was just super sensitive, super duper sensitive, ultra sensitive to everyone and what they're feeling. Remember, he could hear what people are thinking and all that, so he's just super 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 ultra sensitive. So to enter into an environment where everyone is mourning this person that he loved as well, it makes sense to me that he would weep, even though he knew he was about to perform a miracle. And could it be too that he cried because he understood that we don't know what we're crying about? Like we cry, and I want to say to anybody who is experiencing loss, that Jesus, just like he wept for Lazarus, he is weeping with you. He is still that ultra sensitive being who cries when you cry, and feels what you feel, and feels for you. He does not want you to go through this alone, and he is crying with you. And the point I'm making about Lazarus, because this is going way longer than I planned, and I talk a lot, is when I'm bandaging Marley, those of you who know, my son has a skin condition and it's very painful and horrifying. It's called epidermolysis bullosa, and this video isn't about that. But yeah, I've been bandaging him since birth, and whenever I'm bandaging him, especially now that he's getting older, I see him being so scared and crying and having like he's petrified, and because it's painful, and also because he goes through what we call anticipatory anxiety, and he's anticipating pain. And sometimes like inside of me, I'm like screaming, I'm like, why are you not trusting me to take advantage of when I've been doing it all my life? I'm like, I know all your life, sorry, all his life. He is so afraid and clinging to what, like to like the loss of control that, just anticipating pain. Let me make the point. Could it be that just like how my son cries because he's afraid of what's to come, but I know that I'm making it better, I know that I'm going to make this as gentle as possible. I feel like this is not the best example, sorry, but let me just say what I'm saying about Christ. Could it be that he was crying that day because he knows better? He knows that we're here crying over our lost loved one, but he knows that they're going to have perfection. He knows that if we only knew what we were going to, what we were heading into, we would be so happy. Could it be that, like, as a parent, even though he was human in that form, he's still God. He's still our father, he's still God. He, like, as a parent who can, sympathize with a child who's crying about something that you know is good for them, they want this thing and they think they're right, but better, and they're throwing their tantrum. Could it be that Jesus was allowing everyone to throw their tantrum, to mourn? And when I say tantrum, I feel like I'm minimizing it. So sorry for that word. Sorry for that. I don't know if it's insensitive. I'm sorry. But could it just be that he understands what we're going through and he cries with us? He feels for us, but he knows the perfection that we're called to. And I just hope that if this can encourage anybody, feel what you feel, go through what you go through, but trust God and know that your loved one is being taken care of. And know that when you pray, sometimes when you pray for healing, you pray for healing and you beseech and you cry, you bawl out and you cry to God for your loved one not to be in pain. As hard as it is to say this, sometimes for your loved one, maybe sometimes, I feel weird saying this, but death can be the answer. It sounds so bad, but I believe that when I go over on the other side, I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, why did it take me so long to get here? And your loved ones are fine. Your loved ones who are saved are experiencing perfection and no pain and rest and joy and peace. And when you can cling to that, cling to it. Anyways, I'm gonna go now. Be blessed. Love you. God loves you so much more than you could ever understand. And that's a wonderful thing. All right, guys, take care. My rant, not my rant, my chatting is over. Take care. Blessings.